So you don't have time to consume an entire podcast, that's okay. Enjoy the highlights on TRS Clips. Make sure you subscribe, make sure you hit that bell icon. How you guys have your own trajectory when you joined the Special Forces. And I've had these same conversations with Major Arun as well. Just very different mentality with you guys. And from the outside looking in, I believe it's because of two things in particular. One is the training and the mentality you develop during the training. You'd explained this to me and I'd love for you to cover that aspect on the podcast. And the second thing is actual combat, practicals if you may. The theory and your practicals of what you've studied. I feel that really changes you as a human being. So first, sir, would you agree when I say that?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Your experiences unlock your own potential of what you are. That's it.
So could you highlight these two phases of your life and what you gained again as a man? Like, because I feel every human being has that process where you're going from being a child to becoming an adult, and it happens repeatedly. But specifically when we're talking about the Indian Special Forces, I feel like these are the two big changes. Your training and actually going through combat. I'd love to know that.
So, Special Forces is a state of mind, like I said, right? It's a state of consciousness level. It's a state of being exploratory in nature and willing to put in all that you have to be able to see more, to explore more, at even the cost of your own life and your cost of the attachments that you have, right? So in the Special Forces, or I'll speak about myself, I would look for all these probationers who would come, I would look for that spirit. Now, if that guy had that spirit, it's very easy to spot it, you can pick it up, right? So when you spot it, then it's just a matter of letting it happen. The selection process of Special Forces is so intense that, all your paraphernalia of your ego and your perceptions of yourself and all those things, they dissolve in the amount of energy which is expended or you are exposed to. It just shatters all that is around you, and very quickly you are brought out from there and then looked at.
So you mean like energy, like physical, mental, emotional, all kinds?
Yeah, full spectrum of energy. Your circumstances around you, the world that you're experiencing, be it what your body is experiencing, what your eyes are seeing, basically what your mind is experiencing in those set of circumstances which are created, time-tested set of circumstances which are created to break you, and then see what is there and expose it, bring it out, and have a clear look at it, and straight away make a judgment that, do I want to walk with this man in combat or not? If I'm going exploring, would I want this guy by my side or not? Can I trust this man to be able to do what needs to be done, right? So the first filtration process starts from the volunteering phase itself. And so it takes a lot to volunteer for the Special Forces, especially when you've been in the academy, you've been in NDA for three and a half years, whatever, like me, 3.5 years, I got relegated, I had a broken leg, blah, blah, blah. So 3 years in the NDA and then 1 year in the IMA. And then after all of this intense amount of ragda that you get, and you still choose for more, right? So it takes balls to fill in your volunteer form. So when people volunteer, that's the first level of clearance that they've already crossed. When they volunteer for Special Forces, when they take the decision to put their pen on that paper and sign it.
Okay, I want to go one level higher now.
Yeah, I want to see more. Yeah. So that's the volunteer this thing. And then you have to be at a certain level, like there are merit lists and all that. A lot of people now apply for the Special Forces and all that. In our time, it wasn't so many. But in my batch, like, it was an explosion. Normally, there are 5-6 guys out of a course of 350 who are applying for Special Forces. In my time, there was 33-34 people who applied. So because our instructors who were there from the Special Forces was so inspiring. So when you volunteer, you come into the, if you fit in the bracket of various things that are required, you are picked up and you're allowed to come to a Special Forces unit. And in that Special Forces unit, when you come in from the moment you land up at that gate, from there onwards, your life shifts. Everything is stripped off you, right? Right from your ego to your clothes to your whatever it is there. You are brought into the moment, and that moment is crushing in nature. Right.
Are you allowed to expand on that? Or
Yeah,
like what happens?
Yeah. So I'll complete what I'm saying and then take you down the various alleys, You're basically, you volunteer. That's a level of clearance itself. It takes a lot for a person to be able to sign that form, because he knows if he fails, there's so many things to lose. So many people know that you're volunteering for the special forces and all that. You don't make it, there's so much of disappointment within, and then if you have an ego, you'll feel less because other people will judge you and stuff like that. There's a lot to lose if you really think about it. But then people who are able to, and there is never any surety that you will make it. There is never any surety. Only those people are sure who don't even think about it. They just land up there, right? The rest of the people who start judging whether I will get selected, not get selected, what will happen, this will happen, that will happen, they go through a lot of inner turmoil. And they have to deal with that besides dealing with what, shit is being thrown at a volunteer. So then when you reach the gate, and then you come into an environment, that environment is built to screw you, is built to teach you, break you, and teach you new things. But the spirit is the same. So you're already there. You're just being taught, right? So you go through that process. It's a 3-month process, and I was very fortunate to go through 6 months of that process because of various reasons. And then when you go through that entire process, you learn a lot, not only about special forces skill sets and things like that, but also you come to realize about yourself a lot, of what your body is capable of, what your mind is capable of, what your heart is capable of, and what is there beyond when you give up, when you just let it all go, and you're hanging by that thread of choice, because it's a choice you made. So you're hanging by the thread of choice, constantly there. And when that choice is so strong and you remain there, that's what we are looking for. An ability to make a choice for yourself and stick by it. So that's what filters out in combat. That's what we want in combat. So when combat is happening, when bullets are flying, bombs are exploding, people are freaking dying, killing each other, all that shit is happening, intense amount of chaos. It's chaos. The whole universe is gone. It's just live, you're there, right? So it's, at that time there is this immense amount of clarity, or there will be an immense amount of confusion. So that difference between immense amount of clarity and immense amount of confusion is based on how much of an ability to make a choice you have got. So that we are able to determine during the probation process itself, during the selection process itself, we are able to determine that, is this guy going to stick, or is he going to run? We don't judge it. It's okay to run or whatever, it's natural. But that's not what's going to work in combat, man. If you run, you're weakening the team itself. So the team has to stand, line up, and fucking get into it. So it has to be like that. You have to go in rather than get out. You have to go in, penetrate, reach, tear it open, and open it up. And make it your own.
Yes, sir.
You make that space your own. So there are certain kind of people who are at that consciousness level where they understand that the choice is theirs. Those are the kind of people we look for.
Yes, sir.
And the entire selection process is to be able to see whether that guy is like that or not. So people are already like that. So we choose from those people. And the circumstances are such that all those people who are not already at that stage of making their own choices and sticking by them, the rest of them just get out from there. They get out very, very quickly. There are some who are more. So we that's why it is a long process. People have different levels of being able to make a choice. We want the guys who can make the ultimate choice because they made it. And they can stick by it even if, Yamraj comes and stands in front of you, you'll tell her, fucking put a bullet in you, man. Get the fuck out of my way. It's like that.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Could you highlight the circumstances that actually caused the segregation? Like, what does the training school put you through? Like, just a few, if you may.
So it's a dual process. So Special Forces stand for efficiency. It's the highest form of efficiency that a human being can achieve in this reality. Above this, maybe it is the yogis or whatever, When you come into this environment, you are put into a dual process of being broken down, shattered, torn apart, right? And being trained as well. It has to be efficient because ज़्यादा time नहीं है ना, चल रहा है ऊपर काम. So we need guys, tuck, 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 come like that. Or you fucking get out from here. It's like that, tuck, tuck, right? So you are being trained and you are being broken down as well at the same time. So in this process of being trained and broken down at the same time, uh, you're taught certain skill sets, right? You're taught certain skill sets that you need to be able to execute in combat. For example, there may be explosive training, there will be unarmed combat training, there may be weapon training, there may be endurance training, there may be navigation training. There are a lot of things, emergency medical first response training, survival training, etc., etc., etc. You're being trained, and you are being trained while being broken. Yeah. So, for example, when your day starts, if you're lucky, your day starts around 4:30. Otherwise, if you're unlucky, your day started yesterday. You have not slept, and that could be like couple of days in a stretch. So, for example, I'll tell you, I have a bad memory. Maybe that's why I'm so happy. So, so I have a bad memory and all that, and I was always like poor in GK. Like I had no interest, like things like that, in who is president and who is what. It's not my purview of things that are affecting me, right? And when I came in, so the whole day till 7:30 in the evening, you are being taught and you're being screwed, right? You are being very screwed to the inch of your body choice, right? Constantly. And if it's over, it's over. Like people just get up and sign and get out. It finishes off that quickly. There is no maybe one more chance or something like that. So when you are the whole day going through that whole thing, and 7:30 in the evening, you're broken off. That okay, go have your dinner or whatever it is, and then people go and prepare and all that. So you're basically doing probation with the soldiers. So officers, soldiers, whatever, everyone is together. You live together, you eat together, you train together. Everything is happening together. So you go through this entire set of experiences till 7:30 in the evening or 8 o'clock or whenever it is on that particular day, and you're generally broken off to go and prepare for the next day, eat your dinner, make your diet, and you're making stuff that can go in and give you energy and recover what you have lost and prepare you for the next day. So 7:30 they would be broken off, and I was the only officer doing probation there, right? So I would have to go to the officers' mess. It's the officers' mess where the real probation would start. So all the bachelors of my particular unit would be there for dinner, and it was compulsory for me to go there and have dinner. And I would reach there half an hour early, and I would be told, I had to learn everything which is there in the mess over decades. There are so many trophies and there are so many, memorabilia and so many things which are there. You have to learn each and every damn thing. Who gave it? When did he give it? Why did he give it? What is the significance of it, etc. Each and every, there are hundreds of pieces lying around there, right? And then there are these people who have died in combat, right? Like Sudhir Walia, Arun Singh Jasrotia, the various legends of our battalion who died in combat, right? So their stories are there in the officers' mess. You should see it sometime. And then you have to learn why, who was he, when did he, get shot up, how did he die, and, what was he awarded for, and things like that. So all of that you have to memorize, and learn and learn and learn. And then by the time everybody comes for dinner, and then you sit, and then the question answers start.
Wow.
Yeah. So they'll start asking you, okay, and it can start from anything. It can start from you're like what used to happen to me is like, I would start putting like, you're hungry, the whole day it's been torn out of you, and you need that bloody food going into your body. So then the first spoon is going into your mouth, and somebody will just say, Jacob, what is the moon phase today? And there, sorted. So they'll start asking you questions to check your level of awareness and so many other things, in which I used to fail all the time. I didn't know fucking jack shit. What is the moon phase? Who is the president? Who is nothing? I knew nothing. Right? And
If you answer wrong, what happens?
you're lying. Either you know or you don't know. That's it.
So if you don't know and you say you don't know,
Yeah, so that's what I started doing. I would just keep saying, I don't know, I don't know, I don't know. So they'll ask one question, I'd say, I don't know. Then they'll look here, there in extreme disgust. That this guy doesn't even know this. Like that, like that, like that. So they'll keep asking, keep asking, keep asking, keep asking. And you know that this is all piling up, right? And then they'll just say, you need to learn and all. So they'll tell you, okay, do one thing, half an hour guard check, whole night. So every half an hour, you're circling the battalion, the whole battalion. There are a certain number of checkposts, the radar, there's moving patrols, and all. There's a very high level of security going on. So you're circling the whole battalion, the whole night. Every half an hour, you have to take one circle. And then in the morning at 5 o'clock, there's going to be a PD fall-in. And at 5:30, there's going to be a battle preparatory endurance test go, where you will be competing with all those guys who broke off at 7:30 last night. And they were like cooking, meat and this and that and, eating almonds and whatnot and all of that. And they have slept. And they are going to be running alongside you. And you better be number 1, 2, or 3. Ideally, 1 or 2. So if you don't come 1, 2, or 3, you're out, brother. You can't make excuses that, I didn't sleep last night. And everybody knows you have not slept last night. But you will yet perform. Because you have to lead these people in combat. You have to lead the men in combat. In special forces, you don't lead by position of your rank or whatever. There is no authority in combat. When the shit is flying and death is like constantly zipping around you, like that, there is no authority. There is no captain, major, colonel, brigadier. Frickin' no one. There's just you and the people who are there with you. And what are you going to do right now? That is what decides leadership there. That is what either keeps it all together or everything is destroyed. So that's what is checked. Yeah. So like that you go through a process. And then again the next day, and then again the next day, and then again the next day. Like that. 6 months.